Good afternoon. I'm County Executive George Latimer, and we're here on the Friday that begins Memorial Day weekend. And this weekend, Westchester families are going to be planning to honor all of those who paid the ultimate sacrifice. There are a variety of events all across the county, including one here at Glen Island, that will honor our brave dead. And we hope that for those who are going to be in Westchester over the weekend, they'll put some time aside to honor those who've served us, veterans who are with us and those who have departed us. Many of us are going to spend time in our backyards and at the beautiful beaches that we have. And Westchester County has a number of terrific beaches. This, of course, here at Glen Island is one of them, and Playland and others around the county that are ready for residents to come out and to enjoy. But for the backyard standpoint, we have issues both about parks and about public health and about public safety. So we have many members of our executive team in the county to talk about each of these different issues so that people can have a safe, happy weekend and be ready on Tuesday to resume our normal activities. So first I'm going to ask our Commissioner of Parks, Kathy O'Connor, to come and tell us a little bit about what the Parks Department has in store for us this weekend. Kathy?
Thank you very much, County Executive Latimer. My name is Kathy O'Connor. I'm the Commissioner of the County Parks Department, and I am always so excited when the weather cooperates, since we obviously work so closely with the weather and people want to come out and enjoy what's going on. Here today is Glen Island Beach Park. It's fabulous. We have our head lifeguard who is in charge of all our facilities, the swimming facilities, Paula Wydell, with us here today. Tomorrow, Glen Island is one of the beaches. We have 3 beaches that are opening: Croton Point Park, Glen Island, and Playland. They will be opening to the public for the 2018 season at 11 a.m. till 6:30 p.m. So we're very excited. This park is also the home to many, many picnics and a lot of other festivals and special events. Also here on Monday, as the county executive mentioned, we'll have a Veterans Appreciation Day starting at noon, also here at Glen Island, as well as a Veterans Appreciation Day at Playland on Sunday. Saturday, we have the 90th birthday party for Playland, at Playland, obviously, at around 12 o'clock. We'll have a cake and a couple of other special events going on. And then finally tonight at County Center, we have the opening game for the New York Liberty WNBA. The Liberty team is starting at 7:30. So we have a lot going on. We're very excited, and we're so happy that the weather is cooperating. Thank you very much.
Thanks very much, Kathy. Next, we're going to turn to County Health Commissioner, Dr. Shalita Amler. Safety is very important. Kathy talked about water safety at our beaches and our pools, and there's safety that relates to sunscreen, that relates to a host of other issues that start to become the summertime reality. So, Dr. Amler, please share some of the advice you have for us.
Thank you. So, good afternoon, and I just want people to understand that there's really no safe way to tan. A tan is actually your body's way of telling you that the skin has been damaged. And skin cancers are the #1 cancer that is reported in this country. Approximately 3.5 million Americans each year are diagnosed with skin cancers. And 1 American citizen dies of melanoma every hour. And I happen to be one of those people who was diagnosed this year. I found a mole on myself that turned out to be melanoma. So what can you do to protect yourself? Well, you can wear sunglasses to protect your eyes from cataracts, from the damage from sun. A broad brimmed hat help keep the sun out of your face. Sunblock, which you want it to be a broad spectrum sunblock that covers both ultraviolet A and ultraviolet B rays, because both of those can damage your skin. And you want a sun protective factor of at least 15. So if you do those basic things, along with avoiding direct sunlight when the sun is the strongest, about 11 p.m. to 4 p.m. during the day, wearing sleeves like I'm wearing, those are and of course putting your sunscreen on. Now, if you're wearing sunscreen, that doesn't mean you get to stay out there forever. It prolongs the amount of time that it takes for your skin to burn. And burns are what we want to avoid. So definitely wearing your sunscreen, put it on your children. If you're out there for more than 2 hours or you're swimming, you need to repeat the sunscreen frequently. When you're done with your activity, be sure to wash it off of your children. Those are some of the most important aspects of this. In addition, adults should go into their dermatologist once a year for a total body scan to make sure that you have no moles that are suspicious for a skin cancer. And if you do these things, hopefully you'll have healthy skin and you will not develop a skin cancer. But if you do, maybe it will be detected soon enough that something can be done. And that's what we're really all about, protecting and preventing health, preventing illness and protecting health. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Emlin. And I'm sure it goes without saying, but I'll say it anyway. We may have cloudy weather over the course of the weekend, and even if it's cloudy, the sun's rays still come through. So just the way it looks, it doesn't have to be bright and sunny for it to potentially be damaging. And I think many of us think that we need to put on sunscreen when we go to the beach or to the pool, but if you're out enjoying one of the parades and you're in exposed sun for some length of time, you're just as subject to those rays as you would be if you came to a place to specifically tan. And hopefully you'll be able to enjoy one of the many Memorial Day ceremonies that we have. As Commissioner O'Connor said, the Parks Department has veterans events on Sunday at Playland and Monday here at Glen Island Park. But almost every community is going to have a variety of parades. To begin to list them all would be unlimited. Sunday there's a parade in Hastings-on-Hudson. On Monday there are parades in a large number of communities, White Plains, Rye, Harrison, a host of them. And even as late in the week as Wednesday night when Mount Kisco and Yonkers and Mamaroneck Village have parades. For all of those things, all of those rules apply on sunscreen.
Absolutely.
Now, most of us, particularly those of us who are overweight, very few overweight people here, very athletic members of the Public Safety Department, unlike their overweight county executive, we're going to be going to backyard barbecues. And for those who are preparing food, there are certain things to be mindful of. And even if you know them, it bears repeating. So Peter DeLucia, who is with us also from the Health Department, is going to give us some hints. And members of the press will have hot dogs when this is all over. So pay close attention. Peter.
Thank you, George.
Thank you.
Why don't we just take this off here, and I'll take you over by the barbecue. So, just want to make sure everything.
I'll hold it up and you
hold
talk.
up. One of the most important things we always talk about the health department, and whether you're barbecuing or you're cooking at home, are using clean hands. So one of the things I always recommend if you're going to go out to a backyard barbecue or you come to a beautiful park like this here in Glen Island, is to bring a little alcohol-based sanitizer with you, clean up your hands and all before you get started, and especially after you touch any raw food, once it's cooked, you want to make sure you have clean hands and use proper utensils. So it's very important to use those proper utensils. Also, when you're barbecuing, even if you're barbecuing something as simple as hot dogs, you have to make sure they get to the right temperature. So we worry about, hot food has to be hot, cold food has to be cold. So when you bring your food to the barbecue, make sure you have a cooler. Only take out that food that you're ready to either serve, if it's cold salads and things like that. And if you're going to barbecue the food, only to take out the food that you're going to put on the grill and you're going to start cooking. Remember, on a normal day, if it's not too hot out, it's in the 70s or 80s, food should be able to last out on your picnic table for about 2 hours. On a hot day, when it's in the 90s, about an hour before food begins to spoil, and you want to put that back in the ice. And then one of the simple things that I always recommend is to get a little thermometer. One of these little 0 to 220 stamp thermometers. They probably only cost a few dollars. You can get them at the grocery store. And this is your indicator on if you've cooked food to the right temperature. So food, poultry items and things like that, any kind of poultry, chicken, things like that, 165 degrees. Your hamburgers, you want to cook to 160 degrees. And, steaks and things like that, 140. But even the simple hot dog, 165 degrees. Even though they're pre-cooked, they can contain things like listeria. And if you're feeding it to children or a pregnant woman, you want to make sure you've cooked them thoroughly. And what I recommend is just use that proper utensil, stick it right in there, nice and deep, and then you can tell, and this one already is about 170 degrees. So usually when they're nice and blistered like that, they're nice and hot. And then put it on a roll and enjoy your barbecue.
Peter, just a couple of quick questions. Lighting the charcoal fire, many times that's a source of potential danger for the homeowner. Any advice on the best way to light the charcoal fire to avoid yourself being in any danger?
The thing what you want to do with a nice charcoal fire is you don't want to, use the old thing that I remember my grandfather had, the thing you plugged in the wall and everything's frayed and you stick it in there. You want to pay close attention to it. You want to make sure all the charcoal is in a proper barbecuing grill, whether it's a nice Weber grill or something like this that the county has. It's deep enough in so nothing's going to fall out. And use something that you can light it with, like either a large butane lighter or something like that that's easy to get in there and light it, that you're not sticking your hands in there. And once it's lit, you want to be careful and make sure no kids are around there, because even here, I was careful about where I was putting that paper plate. Once these grills get hot, everything transmits through the metal, and you can end up starting a fire.
And I assume we have to remember, if it starts to rain, you want to be careful where you put your barbecue grill to make sure it's vented properly.
Very important comment. Very important comment. You don't want to do anything in your garage. A lot of these propane grills, things like that, they could either cause carbon monoxide poisoning in your garage if that's not well vented, or you could start a fire in there. One of the big things we always talk about Thanksgiving are turkey fryers. A lot of people are all excited to fry their turkey, and then Thanksgiving rolls around. It's a rainy day or cold. They decide to do it in the garage, and they wind up burning down the garage and possibly, injuring their family members. So that's a very good point.
Thank you, Peter. And since we have the benefit of Chief Hodges and his men from Public Safety, let me just ask you to step up. A couple of just very simple questions. A lot of traffic on the road. Any advice for those of us who are going to see ourselves in bumper-to-bumper traffic, perhaps hot weather conditions and so forth, from a public safety protection standpoint?
Well, obviously, I would advise people to leave enough time, anticipate. The weather is beautiful. I mean, this is Memorial Day weekend. It's the unofficial start of the summer season, so you're going to see an increase in traffic. Leave enough time and make sure that your car is properly running. And if you do have a problem and you break down, get off to the side of the road, use your phone, call, and we'll make sure that we'll have patrols that'll come by and help you out. And the other thing is, listen, drinking and driving. We will have patrols out there, and don't do it.
And buckle up our seatbelts as well, I'm sure.
Well, seatbelts, as well as those who are in the vehicles, and make sure, even as you mentioned, people will be going out, you'll be packing coolers and stuff like that in the car. Make sure that you don't overpack things and that they're in a safe manner, so that nothing will shift or hit anybody who is in the car.
Chief, thanks very much. Hopefully we remember all of these good tips and advice for the weekend, and enjoy the weekend here in Westchester and wherever you may be. Let me open it up to any questions that you may have for any of our professionals in each of these different areas, and we're happy to bring them to the microphone if you have questions about any of these things. Andrew? It feels really good right now, to be honest with you. We had 76 days of February, followed by 2 or 3 days of spring, and so now we're into the summer season. But I think it's important to note that the park system of Westchester County has developed over a long period of time, and many people who came long before me were wise to set aside land so that people who in their private residencies might not have access to the water, might not have access to amusements, could still come and enjoy the waterfront. We have blessed by waterfront here in the Long Island Sound, as well as over on the Hudson River. And we have a variety of parks. Kathy mentioned the ones where you can swim, but there are places where you can go and just look at a beautiful view. Kingsland Point Park in Sleepy Hollow with the iconic lighthouse, which we hope to make enough improvements on so that you can enjoy that. On a beautiful day this weekend, you can sit and watch the Hudson River roll in one of our parks. So it's a great feeling, and I think these are the things when people decide to move to Westchester or live in Westchester, they're looking for. Proximity to New York City is essential for us economically, but having a different style of life, including these types of things, is really what makes Westchester special. Any other questions?
Do you think Con Ed is ready for the temperate, mild weather?
Well, as President Reagan said when he was talking about Gorbachev, Dovernai no provenyai. I know I'm using Russian here, but trust but verify. So we'll verify. Okay, Pete, put the rest of the hot dogs on for everybody else. Thank you. Thank you all very much.